Morning, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you're all well. Andrew Gold, Heretics, good channel. Nearly 750,000 subscribers, just over. The video is called Elites Let Teachers Do This to Girls. Whistleblower Dr. Emily Brearley. Fucking the second R done me in there. So yeah, again, along the lines, in it, elites, the Epstein, global elites, New World Order plan, paedophiles, satanic weirdos, yeah, all this kind of crack. You know what I mean. So yeah, I just again, this video is 57 minutes long, so there's no way I'm going to play all of it. I just thought I'd mention it in case people hadn't seen it. Um, and yeah, again, more expose of the global elites and their ways in many ways. So we'll have a listen to this.
The teachers were saying, well, I'll mark you present if you have sex with me, and I'll pretend that you were here. Because if you're not here, then you're going to get in trouble with the World Bank. And I told them, I am the World Bank. I went to work on this project because I wanted to save the little Palestinian babies. I came in incredibly biased and indoctrinated. I thought someone will say something. They didn't.
They were going to be used as guinea pigs.
Yes.
These are globalist organizations.
The World Bank, the global elite,
the World Bank.
This was not the exception to the rule, this was the rule. This is how projects were approached by the international elites, that it was essentially just a tool to indoctrinate children and turn them into child soldiers. The key word that came out was martyr. This organization has given more money to these people than any other group of people in the history of international aid, and f***ed it up so profoundly. My intense anger is that it purports to be moral, saintly, holier than thou, and in fact it is ugly and broken. I threw eggs at the World Bank when I was a student. It was so much fun. And then I went and worked there. I was very curious to go inside because it was all the rich kids getting jobs there, and I was like, I want to see how bad it is.
It's a pleasure having you here. I've read your book. It's amazing. What's your book called?
It's called Aid Inferno.
Aid Inferno.
Like Disco Inferno.
Exactly, but aid.
But aid.
And it's really good. And I'm just going to go straight into it here.
Yeah.
You were working in Liberia with the World Bank.
Yes.
And it turned out that a lot of the teachers on a program with the World Bank were, you can't use the word too often on YouTube, but they were violating children, the young women who were going on these courses.
Correct.
Tell me about that.
So this was not a loan. The World Bank normally does loans to developing countries. This was a grant. It was just when Liberia had returned to democracy, supposedly. And Ellen Sirleaf used to work at the World Bank. So she called up the World Bank and said, I need some money to do something for young girls. So the World Bank said, okay, let's make a really overly complicated project. And then we will implement it in your country and it'll be amazing. And we'll get Nike to sponsor it. So it was really high profile. At the beginning, we had Anne Hathaway at the World Bank. We had Christy Turlington, who's really gorgeous. So they were all there, all the celebs. It had everything going for it, apart from a really stupid design. So it was my job to go and have a look at it and write about what wonderful things were happening for these young girls. But the problem is that Liberia had just come out of a civil war, and had been used as a tool of war. And most women at that point had experienced that. They had children from different men. They had children from men they didn't even know the names of. So it was an endemic kind of part of society that had been totally broken. So we should have known that this was going to be a problem. And in fact, we were told by a consultant who wrote a vulnerability report and said, whatever you do, good luck trying to teach girls to catch up 10 years of education that they've lost. But at the very least, if you're going to have them in a classroom, don't put them in a classroom with men. If the teachers have to be men, then you need a woman supervising. You need a creche for the babies. Bottom line, this is what you've got to do. So I show up. I'm a junior economist. I didn't have my PhD yet. So obviously I was a very unimportant person. You have to have a PhD at the bank to be considered anybody. And I started visiting the schools. And all of the girls told me, we sat there, it was very matter of fact. And they just said, yeah, my teacher is telling me that I've got to sleep with him. Because if I don't, I'm going to get chucked off this program and the World Bank is going to be really angry with me and I'm going to owe them money. And this was the story told to me over and over and over again in a very sort of, as I said, matter of a fact way, because it had been sort of part of their life experience. And these were 15 to 21-year-old young girls. And it was just, absolutely, obviously, horrific in its mundane occurrence.
They thought that they would get in trouble with you guys if they didn't do it or whatever.
That's what they had been told by the teachers. So the program was designed to teach these girls vocational skills. And someone had the bright idea, probably at Nike, that they shouldn't be doing cleaning or cooking or, working in hotels. They had to do like boys' jobs, like electrical engineering and fixing cars and painting. So they had been corralled and put in this program to learn these skills. And for some reason, they had not found female teachers to do this, even though the whole point was to create jobs for young women. And so it was just a perfect opportunity for them to be preyed on by these teachers. And in fact, when I went to talk to the girls, the teachers themselves were like touching me up.
Oh, wow.
Blatantly, touching me.
This is a very different culture.
Yeah. And, it was, I talk about in the...
Yeah, it's sorry to interrupt, but yeah, it totally is a different culture again, and these are some of the people that's come over on the boats, though. You know what I mean? You can tell a lot of these people are Africans and that. You know what I mean? From Sudan and all these kind of places, and like they're saying here, all these African countries or countries we've ruined as well, like Libya and stuff like this. So yeah, they're from a different culture, and like you said there, like rape was used as a tool of war, you know what I mean? So this is kind of what's going wrong in England as well. And people know this. You're importing a load of people who come from cultures where like touching women and kids and raping people, well, it's not such much a big deal, you know what I mean? Well, it is a big deal here, so don't import the people where it's not a big deal. So again, I just thought I'd play a bit of this, really. Again, I've played 5 minutes. I'll never play another 5. But yeah, elites let teachers do this to girls is the name of the video. So again, you're in all the crack here as well. The World Bank, again, the International Monetary Fund, fucking the Economic Forum, the United... It's all the same people, do you know what I mean? All these entities, it's all the elites in their, rich people in their clubs, and then they're in all these other little clubs, like the Fabian Society and the Bilderberg Group and all these other ones. There's many, you know what I mean? So, I mean, what I'm sensing here as well is this was kind of just set up for this in the first place, never mind educating girls. Maybe not. I mean, maybe that woman who asked for the money, it was genuine, but genuinely they're not. And a lot of people think because they're women, they're not like, it's like the Queen as an example. Like, she's not this nice old woman that people thought she was, you know what I mean? She just played it very well. So, the fact because someone's a woman, a lot of people don't look on women the same as men, do you know what I mean? In terms of how evil they can be, when many times women can be more evil than men. And that's kind of was proved with the Nazis and the prison guards. The women prison guards were worse than the men. So, yeah, again, it's women that are good. I mean, people, big fucking drug networks use women as people because they're less suspected, to be honest, in certain lights. Women, especially in like even paedophilia, really, it's something that shines more on men than it does on women, do you know what I mean? But there's very much women paedophiles. Again, there's a fucking pandemic of it, with women sleeping with their teachers, sleeping with their children in America. There, you could report one of them every fucking day. The teachers sleeping with their male students when they're like 14 and 12 and stuff. It's fucking unreal how many there is. So, I'll play a lot bit more, right? But again, none of this is coming as a surprise to me. I mean, the elites aren't involved as yet. This is just kind of talking about teachers, do you know what I mean, in schools. But it's kind of been set up by the World Bank, which is the elites. But it says elites let teachers do this to girls. So maybe further down the story that there is some more involvement here of the World Banking people, etc. Although she said she was reporting on this and had to report back. And probably reported back what she's telling us here. And they're probably, oh, well, we're not bothered. You know what I mean? Well, we'll have a lot listen more, see if we get any more information here. I won't play the full thing though, but I just thought I'd give it a mention. Again, elites, fucking World Bank, all these entities again, and the same people, Tony Blair and fucking Mandelson and fucking you name it, it's all the same clique. So I'll play a bit more.
The book, people had been so broken by so many years of war, they couldn't really communicate with one another anymore in, just simple language. So you try and say something and someone would respond like, "You what?" Like you wouldn't say, there was no pleasantries anymore. There was no, "Oh, how are you?" There was no small talk. There was really very little communication. It was just a total breakdown of the social contract of humanity. And the worst thing about this, and, it was one of those moments where I thought, why am I doing my job? Why am I working at the World Bank? What the hell is international development doing? Because it's supposed to be making the lives better of the poorest of the poor. And this is actively making the lives of these poor girls worse. And I told my bosses, and they basically told me to shut up.
Well, I wanted to get to that because this was probably the most horrific line of the book, was specifically what was said to you about the use of these people, almost in an experiment. What was that line that they said to you?
We will see whether it affects the cohort.
Well, I was going to say, but they
what was the line? You tell me the line, and I'll say it back to you.
They were going to be used as guinea pigs.
Yes.
Right. I mean, that speaks to the heart of this, doesn't it? And that speaks to the heart of why I wanted to have you on this show, actually, to talk about. Yeah.
I mean, that shouldn't come as a surprise to anybody, because you were all used as guinea pigs in the COVID vaccine scenario here. It was a vaccine, a new vaccine, mRNA vaccine or whatever it was called, and it hadn't been tested, and you were in effect the guinea pigs. And what's happening now in the world and happened to people with heart problems and various other conditions, well, they're finding out what that does now, don't they? You were the guinea pigs. So they're doing it on the entire world. So to think that they won't do this kind of thing on smaller communities and countries when they pulled the entire thing off on the entire world there. Well, again, I mean, I don't disbelieve this woman in any way, to be honest. Again, this is what I was saying the other day about when I was 26, I kind of realised there was something wrong with this world, because we're told, it's like this, the World Bank and all these people, they're always trying to help, aren't they? They're always trying to help and donate and give money and for a better future here, but everything's in ruin, you know what I mean? Everything's in ruin here, so how can we spend all this money, have all these people doing all this good work and charity work, yet everything just gets worse all the time? It's not computing, you know what I mean? It's not computing here. So this is why, because it's all a lie, you know what I mean? It's all a lie. Play a bit more.
Yet another... these are globalist organizations that believe very much in this kind of, everyone's the same, or the cultures don't really mean anything. We're going to go in and help everyone, and we don't actually care about results. We will just look good and feel good about ourselves. And this kind of hits that nail on the head.
It does.
These people were being, like countless women in the country of Liberia, where they've gone through decades of war, were now being, attacked by the men, and the World Bank didn't seem to care. It was just they're being used as guinea pigs.
That is essentially it. And this has happened so many times. This was at the beginning of my career, so I thought maybe it was a one-off. But as I talk about in the book, this was, not the exception to the rule. This was the rule. This is how
yeah, it's the model. It's why everything's broken, yet we claim to try and fix everything here. You know what I mean? Again, that for me was the key sign here. The world over, everybody's claiming to be innocent and a saint and fucking a charity and help everybody, and like my fucking Mrs. Trump there in the previous video, I help the Epstein girls, you're part of it all, you fucking liar, you know what I mean? It's very easy to lie, and these people do a lot. It's what they do best, in fact, lie. So yeah, I'm going to leave it there, really. Again, there's another 50 minutes of the video. I just wanted to get a flavour of it and again show you sort of again kind of what goes on as well. Like they pretend they're all saints and they're going to fix the world and everybody's equal and all this bullshit. yet everything goes wrong, and these people are rich as fuck, and we're all poor. You know what I mean? So yeah, again, the elites, the elites. Again, I maintain if you get rid of the global elites, we can fix the entire world, live in a nice world, and there'll be no wars or pandemics or fucking any of this bullshit. You can fucking everybody can go fuck off back to their own countries, and stay there. And we can all live happy here, you know what I mean? But as it goes, that's not the plan of the global elites for the future and for us. So, there we go. I see even with the Irish, which I will mention in the Bagwash News, the Irish have stood up and they've brought the army out on them. And what will happen, because Ireland is in Europe, when the push comes to shove, when the shit really hits the fan, they'll put foreign troops on the ground. They can put NATO, and the NATO people can from free. This is all planned, to be honest. They'll put foreign troops on the ground so that there's a language barrier, and you have to do as you're fucking told because there's a language barrier. So it could get worse for the Irish as well, to be honest. Again, but bringing out the army on the people when the people are just complaining about the petrol prices and being fucked over essentially by the global elite, and again is what's happening. But yeah, these people will bring the army out on the people. You've literally witnessed it happen there in Ireland. I'll mention it in the Bagwash News. So the plot's thickening in the world. It really is. It's going to get a lot worse before it gets any better. Anyway, we'll leave it there. Peace.